Hello, greetings, this is Gilles Mancillon. I wanted to come very briefly today to wish you a good day, to pull out a few cards to address, to see what the higher self may want to guide us or inform us about this coming week and the coming energies. I'm going to pull 5 cards to see what the situation might be. And, well, the situation is actually something that is quite wonderful. It's called ordinariness. Ordinariness. It is what is ordinary, what is natural, what is simple, what is all those things that could be looked at from it was said that it takes a poet to see the beauty in the monotony of daily life, but there is true beauty in the ordinary, and the ordinary can truly become extraordinary. But sometimes we are trying to make something more than what it is. So it is good to stick to what is neutral, to what is natural, simple for a week, maybe to let go of all those artificial understanding or artificial means by which to occupy our consciousness, and try to sit quietly, maybe go to nature. What's in the invisible is all kinds of situation that may show. Here it's called politics, but in essence it is it is the mask and the role that people play. Not everybody is sincere in the world, for they are not to be judged by that, but you want to see what's behind the mask so you do not get deceived. And so it is also always to find out what is true within ourselves and to eliminate all those things that are not really part of ourselves, that are hybris in Greek philosophy. Or the Greeks did not like all those things that were beyond ourselves, that was all the excess that cover up the true self. And so it is those things are not yet visible. From that clarification, from that clarity, from gaining the ability to remove the mask of all those sincere or manipulative energies. First, they will vanish for those who are seeking to deceive, do not want to be in the light, and so. As they are removed, all those insincere energies are being put into the light. They will vanish, and what will be left will be the source, will be God, will be the Creator. All will become light, but in the light, all the illusion have to disappear. What we see before us in the physical plane, we see is the fool. The fool is the one who has no fear. Only the fool believes he has no fear. For everybody's got some fear at some level. For those who do not believe, they completely conquer their fear. If you take them and hang them over a pound with alligators, I'm sure the fear will return. So, but that's natural. This is not the kind of fear for survival that we're talking about here. It's the fear to overcome all those old things that were blocking us. And so it is about taking leaps of faith. We have total freedom from the, not necessarily from the total absence of fear, but we realize that all the old fear are no longer conditioning us, and so we are able to move beyond and to make leaps of faith and to do all kinds of things that we didn't think were possible, just because we believe we have faith and we have no fear to achieve it. For if we have no fear to fail, we have no fear to succeed, and therefore we can do things and often succeed. But if we have fear of success or fear of failure, we will often find ourselves in between. So it's a matter of engaging ourselves and moving into this quantum field. What we are studying is adventure. What kind of adventure are we seeking? What is it? What makes life exciting? Of course, not everybody's got the same sense of adventure to be able to pick up your luggage and go on the other side of the world on some kind of exploration, but adventure can be found without having to move very far away. It is just a matter within the consciousness. There is all kinds of adventure. Everybody will, but adventure makes life exciting. For that, we have to trust, to have faith that to jump into things, and the less fear we have, the greater the adventure in many sense. What we are learning through that whole process is to let go of stress, to not allow stress to become inflated to the point where we are becoming frozen by the stress. The stress is not very healthy. It can be released through breathing. Breathing is a good way to remove stress, to remind yourself that no matter what we are stressed about is temporal condition, and therefore it is illusionary. It is just a temporary thing. And so, as we realize that, we move back into the caring, loving self within. We learn to return to our center, where we are able to know that we are always secure, always free, always safe, and from there we are able to overcome obstacles. Also, when we are inside a physical plane, but there is no solution to whatever we are that's around us, we do not see a solution. It's to go into meditation, project ourselves into the infinite, the realm of truth. And from within that space, the space of unlimited potential, we will always receive a guidance, we'll receive information, we'll receive direction, and then we can return into this material world with higher wisdom. For wisdom is really the only thing that has real value. It's the most precious thing. It's eventually we'll come to realize as a civilization that we will have to find ways to evaluate the wisdom within being and choose those who have the highest wisdom, administrative wisdom, or the kind of wisdom to be leaders and so on, rather than those who speaks the best, who makes the most promises, or have the most money, or all those things are value, but there is a value in all things, but wisdom is probably the highest of all value, and we have to learn wisdom, to know it by heart, to understand, and for that we need to move into the light. The light is wisdom, and wisdom is power. For knowledge does not come from ignorance, knowledge comes from knowledge, and the practice of knowledge eventually leads to wisdom, and wisdom leads to true power. When we try to use power without love and wisdom, then we are completely lost. The power will not will definitely be illusionary. It will be a temporal thing, but true power comes from the ability to dominate, to be conscious of the light part of yourself and the dark part of yourself, and to allow your soul self, to use your free will to choose love and light and goodness as in all your relation with when you encounter plants, animals, human beings. Goodness has to become the dominant energy that everybody will feel, and everybody will feel good just by feeling that. You don't even have to say anything. If you truly cultivate that, people will enjoy your company a lot more. Not a lot more, but they will get an increased sense of feeling well when the more we develop this benevolence, this sense of well-being. And then eventually we're going to come into the transformation, a deep transformation. We do not know what it is yet, but it will come. And so it is a matter of allowing those changes to happen, have trust and faith that those things are meant to we are meant to be transformed into something higher, something superior. And so I wanted also, I've made some recommendation for those who are interested in philosophy to look at the manual of Epictet, the movement of Stoicism. For Stoicism was a movement that came in ancient Greece after the death of Aristotle. It was Zenon de Kition. Not Zenon d'Elée, the great pre-Socratic philosopher, but Zenon de Kition, that was the opposing school of the Epicurean school. Epicure was a great philosopher, but he was more Aristotelian. He did not believe that the gods would ever have any partake in this human life, when the Stoicians were more Neoplatonician. They do believe the gods had some kind of influence on the world. And so there was the great divergence. They were both very interesting. But in essence, the Stoic kind of tell you that you have to accept life. All those things that are not inside your control has to be accepted with grace. So there is a darker side to it, which I'm going to briefly talk about, but in a sense, what they believed that was not in your control was your health, your wealth, your fame, all kinds of things that were completely, that you had to accept your fate. And in many sense it is true, but in another sense they did not know one thing, is that they are the creator of their life. And so many Stoicians like Sénèque, there was a great Stoician like Sénèque, Plutarch, Spinoza later, or Jean-Jacques Rousseau were great Stoicians. But they did not yet realize that they are the creator of their life. And so, in many sense, many of them were preparing themselves for the worst catastrophe that life could bring. And so they say, well, if in case it comes, I won't be shocked and surprised, I'm ready for it. but then by cultivating those energy, they kind of tend to create those circumstances for themselves in order to fulfill their own materialistic creation. And so it is far better. That's the darker side of Stoicism. So you have to accept with grace whatever life sends you, but know you have the power to transform it and keep your thought focused on what you want, on the positive, on the good, on the loving side of life. For that will always, even if life does not bring you all that you want all time, it is still far better to continue to focus until the point where your focus is whole and total, and there is no more doubts in terms of what you wish to experience. And at this point, all the illusions will disappear to make this to make it possible for the manifestation you seek to unfold before you. Well, I hope this message was interesting for you. I was going to sing a gospel song, but I'll do it next time. It's a song that's a bit difficult. So I'm going to sing a song today. It's about friendship. So it's very Epicurean. Epicure thought friendship was one of the highest value in life. I'm also going to put below a version of that song. It's a cult version. It's not new, but it's been deciphered with the text that was changed, and it's kind of humorous. I don't know if you like it, so I do that. It's called A Little Help from My Friends. It goes like this. What would you think if I sang out a tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Lend me your ear and I sing you a song. I will try not to sing out of key. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. I get high with a little help from my friends. I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. Do you need anybody? I need somebody to love. Could it be anybody? I want somebody to love. What would you do when my love is away? Does it worry you to be alone? How do you feel at the end of the day? Are you sad because you're on your own? No, I get by with a little help from my friends. I get high with a little help from my friends. I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. Would you believe in a love at first sight? Yes, I'm certain it happens all the time. What do you see when you turn out the light? I can't tell you, but I know it's mine. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. I get high with a little help from my friends. I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. Do you need anybody? I just need someone to love. Could it be anybody? I want somebody to love. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. I get high with a little help from my friends. I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. Well, I thank you very much. I wish you a wonderful day. It is always good to know that you have friends and can depend on each other, but know that you also have friends in the invisible world. And so you can call on them and ask them. You'll see that the more we learn to develop this relationship, the easier our life and more pleasant our life becomes, because our guides are higher beings of light, and so they are fully qualified to help us and assist us in this transition that we are undergoing right now. I thank you very much, and I wish you a wonderful day. Namaste.